Hey GenderqueerChat folks, happy Thursday. It's Thursday, March 11th, 2010, and I am coming to you from my backyard with beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sunshine. See? Garden. Stuff with my computer facing away from me. The fire pit of awesomeness. My house. I don't know if you've ever seen my house. This is my house. It's great. Yeah. It is officially a beautiful, beautiful day. And warm out and freezing inside my house. So I decided to make this in the backyard. Because I would either have to turn on my heater and bundle up and make this from under my covers because it's so cold, or come outside. So, okay. This week we are talking about ability and how that impacts transition or identifying as non-binary gendered, and how people are able to make these changes that they want to make, and what obstacles stand in the way as being someone differently abled. So that's kind of a hard question that I don't really know that much about. I've thought about it a little bit. It really makes me think about access, and whether that is physical access to buildings, or access to information, or access to community, or access to the internet, access to language, or access to being able to hear these videos, or I think it all has to do with access, and who would stand in the way, or what systems stand in the way of that access. I don't really know that much specifically, but that seems to be the pattern that I figured out, because I really take for granted the access that I have to the information that I need, the community that I need, the tools that I use to help me understand and express my gender identity. And if I try to step back and think, how would this be different if, for example, I were deaf, or I were in a wheelchair, or something in your mind, something more like what Ami was talking about, or like Asperger's. I know a lot of trans guys with Asperger's, actually. I wonder what that means. And I think a big part of it has to do with respect, and the respect or lack thereof, or lack of understanding, that would get in the way of accessing that information or community or whatever you're trying to access. And that's really sad. You'd think by now people would be able to break down the barriers of difference. I mean, society's just really slow. It's really slow, and that's not an excuse at all. I'm just trying to think about it. And when it comes down to respect and respecting difference, and how that impacts access. So like what Stefan was saying, whether that difference be racial or class status, or ability, or gender identity, or anything, age, geography, where you live, what you talk like, the community that you come from. I mean, society's really judging, and that's crappy. So I feel like, this kind of taps into that malfunction of our society. So I think, just like Stefan said, I think we just need to respect each other and recognize and respect difference and help those who need it to gain the access to whatever they need in order to be happy. And in terms of gender identity stuff, access to information, I think the captioning on YouTube is really big. I think that they're still like figuring out the kinks in it, but I think that's a big step. Yeah, just making buildings accessible. I mean, like, if I were in a wheelchair, I think I would be able to get to my trans meetings, but it'd be a lot harder. I think they have an elevator, but I mean, how many buildings do you know that don't have an elevator? Yeah, it comes down to simple things like that, way up through embedded bias that different people have towards those who are different from them. So anyway, that's what I have to say about that. Tricky topic, definitely a tricky topic. But I am going to go work on Gender Buster stuff. And next Friday in Minneapolis, my ex-girlfriend who lives in Minneapolis is going to be doing a theater show, and they're going to be selling some of my Gender Busters t-shirts. So if you live in Minneapolis, that's the place to be. You should go. 20% Theater Company. You can look them up online. Okay, cool. Hope everybody's doing great and enjoying their mid-March. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Okay, bye. Oh, I forgot to mention, so there's this article on the BBC website about a chicken, or chickens, that are half male and half female. I'm just going to look it up so I can tell you so I don't sound dumb. Why some chickens hatch out half male and half female. About 1 in every 10,000 chickens is gynandromorphous, to use the technical term. Now these chickens are shedding important new light on how birds and perhaps reptiles develop. It's thought that the hormones instructed cells to develop in male or female specific ways. And that's what happens in mammals, including humans, and it leads to secondary sexual characteristics like facial hair for men or breasts for women. But scientists at the Roslin Institute at the University of Edinburgh say that they have discovered that bird cells don't need to be programmed by hormones. Instead, they're inherently male or female and remain so even if they end up mixed together in the same chicken. It means a half-and-half chicken with totally different plumage, body shape, and muscle structure on the two halves of its body. It even affects the wattles on the bird's head, the spurs on its legs, and they will be larger on the cockerel half and smaller on the hen half. Cockerel, I like that, male cockerel of the same bird. Anyway, it's particularly interesting because they're studying this, and it says, if we can understand what the differences between the male and female identities are, then we can imagine making female birds with the same growth characteristics as males. And if there are some vestiges of the same mechanism in mammals inherited from our reptilian evolutionary ancestors, then the research could help answer long-standing mysteries of human health, like why women tend to live longer than men, or why men are at more risk of heart attack. So I found that extraordinarily interesting, and I'll put the link on the side because the picture of the bird is kind of cool. Okay, that's all. I'll see you guys later. Bye.